This hour. Welcome to the Halftime Report. I'm Scott Wapner. That trade news with Mexico, just one of the reasons why stocks look the way they do on your screen, rallying to record highs yet again today. Here to discuss all of it, we have with us Joe Terranova, Jim Lebenthal, Steve Weiss, and Josh Brown. Jim, stocks picking up right where they left off last week. Dow up 265 at the high. S&P record. NASDAQ 8K, another record in its own right.
Yeah, and, you were out last week. We were speaking about this rush to the record. And the one thing that I pointed out last week, I'm going to say it again, is you cannot fight this market. This market is telling you that despite all the risks that are out there, and granted they're mitigated today, it wants to go higher. It sees the profit picture. It sees it growing. It sees no threat to it. Now, I look at today's news. It's very good for certain sectors of the economy, the industrials, autos, those sorts of things. But those sectors, Scott, still have some risks in front of them. China's a big one. Metal tariffs are another one. So what the market is actually saying is, yes, this news on its own is very good, but it predicts that those other issues are going to be resolved as well.
Yeah, Steve, you can see clearly the enthusiasm of any significant deal on the trade front and what it translates into from the market, not just in the sectors that Jim was just speaking about, the ones that are maybe directly involved with trade, but really across the gamut. If you look at the reasons why the market's hit another record high today, it's many different areas.
Yeah, and this was advertised, but I think what this does, if people are extrapolating, including me, by the way, that this is very good for the China negotiations, which are at an impasse right now, because it has to embolden both the administration, the electorate, and if you don't get on board, even if you're a Democrat, who, by the way, also believes that China deal should happen, then you're going to miss out.
Look, which, by the way, Trump himself, the president, saying in the remarks that we heard from the Oval not too long ago, eventually we'll be able to work out a deal with China, he said. So right to your point.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be very positive. And once we get a deal with China, we will get a deal. The negatives are known. I've perhaps been more bearish on the fact that we're going about it the way we have, although I think it's extremely necessary to take care of this right away with China. I don't mean right away today. I mean over months and focus on it. So that's another positive for the market. So we know what the downside is, not having China. We're living with that now. But the upside will be tremendous. It'll be very significant.
Josh,